Hello everyone, welcome to another video. Today we're going to be doing an unboxing and full tutorial on this Eufy wall light cam that has no monthly fees. And they've caught us! Go! So this is the latest offering from Eufy. This is a wall light security camera. You got a camera here and then two lights that are adjustable and everything. We're gonna go into all those details here, but let's go ahead and start with the unboxing. All right, starting at the top here. All right. Okay. And there it is. So we can see we have a camera here. It looks like it's kind of pointed down. Yeah, so you got the logo down here. It orients like this. You got our logo here, camera here. This is probably our sensor array to be able to tell when there's motion and whatnot, as well as our other light here. Let's go ahead and pop this guy out here. You can see we have our wall mount here. So this is essentially meant to replace your own home the lights on the outside of your house. What do they call those? The best I could find on Google is that they call it a sconce. I don't know. It's a wall-mounted light on your front porch, essentially. So this will replace those lights on the outside of your home. And this guy, you can see here, spins all the way around. And you can also see this whole thing rotates a little bit depending on where you need to point your camera. But both of these will rotate around to point the light if you want it to face towards the home or if you want it to face out towards the street, whatever else it might be pointing at. So we have our simple design. This is kind of a modern look, so if your home is not modern, this will definitely stand out. However, it does it for newer homes, things like that. This is a very modern style. And these things will spin all the way 360 degrees. All right, let's see what else is in our packaging here. We have our mounting screws, things like that. A USB cable. Unfortunately, for some reason, Eufy is not using USB-C yet. I'd love to see them upgrade their stuff to start, like, these are brand new devices, and they're still making it with micro USB. I don't know why they're not using USB-C. We also have some little black screws. I'm not sure exactly what these will be for, but I'm sure we will find out eventually. We also have our mounting plate. This is what will mount to the wall of your home. We even have an up and a down to help you with your orientation to make sure you're putting this on correctly. They try to make it pretty simple. And then lastly, we have some instructions in our quick start guide. Is it a fold out or a book? Oh, I love when it's a fold out with lots of pictures. Makes that real easy for us. On the back of our light here, you can see we have a little flap, pretty solid weather seal with our charger there, as well as a little hole for a reset if you have like a SIM card tool. I think our doorbell came with a little button presser to release the doorbell from the mount. That we'll be able to push that button as well if we ever need to reset this. We have our plugs here that will automatically plug into here. Makes it real easy to install this guy. I think this will have an overall very seamless design. You're not going to see giant screws or knobs. The only screws I believe will probably be these little guys now that I think about it. These little guys will come in here to the side to screw into our mount there. When you slide that in, you can see that lines up. All right, let's pull out my phone and get started on the setup. So if you don't already have the Eufy security app, you can download that from the App Store, but I already have it, so we're just gonna go in here, and then up here in the top right corner, we can see it, the little plus button, and we'll add new devices here. And look at that, the wall light cam. All right, we're gonna send it to my house. And now it wants the QR code on here. So on the back of it, we can see that there is a QR code that says, attention, the USB cable. And so we got to connect our USB cable powered on. But don't look at the light. The light might be bright. I love how goofy the character looks on there, like, makes me want to quote A Bug's Life when he's like, I can't help it, it's so beautiful.
No, Harry, no! Don't Don't look at the light! I can't help it. It's so beautiful.
So we've plugged it in. I'm gonna see if we can do this without the instructions, because everything else Eufy has made so far has actually been fairly user-friendly. So let's see if we can do this guy here without instructions here. So say it's plugged in. Let's go ahead and protect ourselves by turning the lights downward. Hit next. Connect it to our Wi-Fi.
Press the sync button until you hear the beep.
Alright, now we do need that SIM card tool. It didn't come with one, so I'm gonna have to go grab mine. Alright, I went and grabbed my Eufy little SIM card style tool. We're gonna go ahead and push the sync button in here. You can use a paper clip or something else if you have that. That is a loud beep. I heard the beep. Let's see if we got a blue flashing LED right there. You guys see that? Hit next. And then they're gonna show a QR code here on my screen. So we're gonna turn the camera to it. Hopefully. Hey, there's our double beep. Wow.
Connecting to the Wi-Fi network. Please wait.
That is a loud beep. Oh, don't do this while the children are sleeping, you guys. So now it's gonna connect to my Wi-Fi network.
Setup was successful.
Great. We'll go ahead and sit next. We'll go ahead and update our firmware. And I don't know if you heard that in the background, Alexa also recognized that. Alright, update has been successful. Turn off the circuit breaker of your home, turn on the light. So this is talking to us through the install process next. So if you don't already have a wall light installed in your home, this will give you instructions on how to measure, where to put it in. Oh my heavens. We got all of our brackets, things like that. Avoid doing this, that, and the other. Tells us how to wire it correctly. That's good to know. And then it shows us how to install or mount it. Turn the power back on, and then start testing it. And then it shows you you can actually turn these around so that you can have, kind of like I was showing you earlier, where you can set it up to be facing this way or this way, have one facing out, one facing in. So if you're like, hey, you know what? I want the lower one facing out, the upper one facing in to be like a architectural light to make your home light up rather than the ground, things like that. So these are some neat options that it offers. Go ahead and hit next, and then your installation should be finished. And we can go into settings real quick while we're here, and we can actually edit this guy here. So go into general, we're going to rename this one. And if, like me, you went and just swiped through all those just to get to like the settings on the camera itself first, and you're like, I kind of need that mounting guide again. If you go into your general again, or go back into the settings on that camera, go to general, you actually have your mounting guide again, the whole process available again, in case you need to reinstall it somewhere else, you moved, things like that. Alright, it is a little chilly out this morning, so I'm going to throw a jacket on and let's go ahead and head outside and start installing this guy. Alright, so this is the light I'm going to be replacing. As you can see, it's already all set up and everything, so this should be a fairly easy process. It may be more intensive and you might have to follow those instructions more closely if you don't have something like this. But the first thing I'm going to do is actually go inside and just flip the light switch. I'm not going to go to the circuit breaker. I'm just going to flip the light switch because it's right here on the other side of the wall. Alright, and this one, a lot of these actually have these little nubs you can kind of see here. You'll just unscrew those little nubs here, and that will make it so that you can take this guy off the wall. Pretty simple process, and it looks like we already got mounting brackets and everything. Now, before you start touching any of these wires, doing anything crazy, if you can, get yourself one of these little electrical testers and just check all your wires to make sure that nothing's live. If it is, it should beep. And I'm getting, see if I really tap it, it'll do it, but I'm not getting any electrical power out of this guy, so we should be good to go. So most of my wires, it looks like, are still tucked up in here. So go ahead and pull these guys out carefully. Come on, cut on a screw here or something. There we go. Beautiful. Go ahead and unscrew these little wire nuts. And then it looks like somebody used a cursed flathead screw here on this ground, so we'll release that until we can get this wire out. There we go, and the light is off. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull these screws out here. Well, that's funny, they're just using drywall screws. Great. There we go. This came with some big old stainless steel, so they won't rust, screws as well. We're gonna use these ones now. These also do come with little plastic anchors and other screws as well. So depending on how you need to mount this, your situation, they do have a few options, but all I need for this situation are these two screws. They're gonna go here and here. Make sure you're installing this right side up here. We're gonna just line up to where the holes all line up here, and now I got mostly in there. I'm gonna get the other one started as well. And then I'm gonna leave it just a little loose because there's a couple of things you can do. One, you can make sure it's up and down centered in this overall box here, but also you wanna make sure that it's level. So I'm gonna get it in here, make sure it looks pretty level. I think that looks good. Lock that one down. Yeah, that's solid. Okay, next we need to connect all these wires here. So if you look closely, you can see you have a G, an N, and down here you see an L for load. And if we reference back to our guide, that means this is our ground, neutral, and our hot wire or our load wire. So that's typically your bare copper or green wire, your neutral, which is typically white, and then load is usually a black wire. You can also see here on the guide on the screen. So let's go ahead and start here with our ground. You'll just insert it here and then use that little screw to secure your wire in. You'll need a small flathead screwdriver here. Give it a tug to make sure it's secure. We're good. A nice thing about my home is they actually used some solid copper rather than strand copper or aluminum wire. So one nice feature of having an older home. It's cold, so these wires are stiff, and so are my fingers. Come on, there we go. That's nice. I really like that our plastic sheathing is all the way in there. Don't have to worry about accidentally grounding things out or having a short. And then lastly, we'll do our hot wire on the bottom. If you don't feel comfortable with this part, you can always hire an electrician, but this is a fairly simple procedure that most homeowners should learn how to do. There you go, and they've made this extremely easy. Now we just push on your light, and then two screws will go in right here. All right, so we'll make sure our light is right side up with the Eufy security logo there. We might need to bend these guys down and out of the way so that it can slide over here. So now we're gonna go ahead and install our little black screws. All right, so for our little black screws here, you're gonna want a smaller #1 Phillips bit for this one. These are almost like eyeglasses style screws here. Real small guys. Be careful not to drop that guy out here, especially if this is over some dirt or something. Push that in. All right, and there is our wall light all installed. Next thing to do is let's go flip the switch inside, see if it turns on. I hear a click, I see a little red light. I'm assuming it's trying to connect to our Wi-Fi network again. We got a blue light, and we're connected. So we can just go ahead and hit the play button on our side door here. My volume up was up on my phone. So now we can get an idea of what we can see here. So if I go all the way to the right, you can see that post there blocks off a lot of the camera, but if I'm walking straight up to the door, it loses me. I'm maybe 5 or 6 feet from the door, but most people are going to be coming from over here, which is where my car is, and I think I might point the camera over here. So this is all the way to the right, so if we turn this all the way to the left, you can start to see the street here and the house. I think I'm gonna actually leave it right here to where it's showing, I'm pointing on my screen, but you can't really see that. I'm gonna create a zone here on my phone, or on the app, to where it sees, basically, if I can point out on the camera, ooh, this is gonna be tricky. Basically from here on the edge of our garden bed to our neighbor's fence right there, and then basically cut across their fence, because we don't want to pick up like when our neighbors are sitting there playing in the yard. But this will basically protect my car and then anyone that might want to walk up our driveway. This is actually a pretty decent camera. I'm gonna go ahead and start recording on the camera here. Say hello. You can hear road noise, but you can also hear me speaking from about 10 feet away. 15? Is this 15? No, this is 10 feet away. This is about 10 feet away from the camera. This is me talking to it. And if I start walking up here, you can hear me talking a little closer. And then I'm going to talk real soft right here at you and say, hey guys, thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to Grant Butler's YouTube channel and all of my other internet things. Instagram, TikTok. There's tons of things out there. It's a secret. Okay, it's not a secret. I hope you all find it. All right, that is our Eufy wall light camera, and now we get to play with more of the fun things. I might have to bring my wife out for this one, where we're gonna choose where to orient these lights here, whether we want them facing in at the house as an architectural, maybe one in, one out, and what color. Because you can change these with the season, you know, how Halloween you'll have some orange light maybe, or Christmas we'll do some blue or red or green. We're gonna find out what we can do. Otherwise, these are adjustable, and we're gonna play with that when it gets a little darker. It is early in the morning, so maybe later tonight we'll start playing with the lights. Let's go ahead and go inside and get warm and mess with the parameters of what sets it off and what won't set it off. All right, you guys, let's go ahead and start going over the motion sensor settings, things like that. We'll just do a full menu tutorial now. Right here you can see my side door camera. If we hit the 3 little dots in the corner, then you have the option of turning the lights on and off manually, snoozing notifications, so if you're having people walk past normally, if you're over working in that area and you're like, look, I don't need 100 notifications of me pulling weeds in my garden, you can snooze that for, you know, 30 minutes up to 12 hours. And then here's the gear. It goes into your settings. From your settings, we can see a ton of stuff, but let's go ahead and start in motion detection. I've kind of left this as is. The standard settings tend to be pretty good with Eufy, but you can adjust these as needed if you have an area that needs to be more sensitive or less sensitive, things like that. So we do have the switch for motion detection on, and then we can click right here for activity zone. And you can see here I've actually created an activity zone that marks, hey, let me know if you see any movement in this area. This is from my front sidewalk straight back. And then it also cuts off at my neighbor's fence, because I don't need to know when my neighbor's out in their yard playing with the kids, because you can see they have like a swing set there. That's gonna set off the security camera all the time if they're out there playing on the swing set. So I did section that off. I do wish that I could put my car somewhere else in the driveway. Unfortunately, that is the most ideal location in my driveway for my little white car there. The only thing I wish that it had here with activity zone is to create an exclusion zone. So my doorbell has an ignored zone and an activity zone. I wish that all of the Eufy video products offered this. Like, it's just a software thing. I don't know why one product would offer it while others don't. I might actually now that I'm saying it, I actually think in the future I'll probably play with the settings to turn off this activity zone and just say, hey, use your proximity sensor if it has one. I know that on the other one it says, so you can see here's higher sensitivity, further detection. So if I turn this down pretty low, it'll actually start to notice things closer, but it won't notice the neighbors in their yard. And I also have it set to record all motion, so it should be recording like when my car pulls in, but I can also turn off push notifications for, hey, don't notify me if it is not a human. And the human detection has actually been great. I haven't had a single instance of where I've walked in or out and it didn't catch me. Let's go ahead and look at my my video history here. So if we click on the little picture here, we can see I got home, side door. So this didn't notify me, but it did record my car pulling into the driveway. Let's jump back into the settings here. Let's go into our video settings. We have the option to turn off the Eufy watermark in the corner of the video when it's recording, as well as our status LED. So if somebody's outside, typically there's a little blue LED light that lights up to let people know, hey, you are being recorded. And if you don't want that, if it clashes with your color scheme of your lights and it kind of makes your fancy architectural lights facing your home look bad, you can turn off the status LED. Night vision here, we can turn off auto night vision, so it forces it to just try and adjust the exposure in color, but not using night vision. From what I've seen, it looks pretty good. I'll show you later in the video how good the night vision is. Record settings, so you can tell it to end clips early if motion stops. Otherwise, it'll just continue recording, I believe. So I've turned that on, so like if you walk out of frame, it stops recording. It's not going to continue recording for another 2.5 minutes. Privacy zones. This will actually black out areas. So a privacy zone is like, hey, you know what? I sometimes get motion detection out of neighbors' windows, so we can actually come up here and say, you know what? We don't want to see in the neighbors' windows. So we're going to go ahead and block those out, so I don't have to worry about like looking in their window and seeing something we shouldn't. And then we can show our live stream quality. Mine is set to auto, so if it has a low quality stream, if we're having trouble connecting to the router, it'll downgrade the video quality until it gets a steady video stream. Or we can override it and say, hey, you know what? I only want high quality video streaming to my phone, even if it's glitchy frame cutting, so you only get one frame every 2.5 seconds or minute or whatever. And then our recording quality, I set it to 2K, or I left it at 2K. You can downgrade that to 1080p if you want to be able to store more on the internal hard drive. So this one only has a 4 GB built-in storage, but it's also able to link to the home base that Eufy offers, so that you can have additional storage. And I believe even the home base is expandable using, I think it's a USB port, plug in like an external hard drive. If you want to see a video on that, let me know and I will make a video on that in the future. So we went through video settings. Let's back out, go to our audio settings, the next one down. It does record audio, speaker volume's at medium, alert volume is at medium, and it's actually plenty loud. Again, you'll see that later in the video. Notifications. So we can allow and turn off push notifications from this specific device. So if this isn't somewhere that's not a priority, you can actually turn off notifications from this device so you don't get motion detection notifications, but it still records clips. If you then look back and you're like, oh hey, where did my lawnmower go? And you can go back and look at your history. But if you want to be able to keep an eye on that, leave your push notifications on. Notification object, it takes you back to our motion detection page. The next thing we have here is our notification type. We have text only or with thumbnail. I've found that text only, you're like, okay, cool, there's been motion, so now I have to click on it to see if it's like worth looking at, or if I need to swipe it away. And a lot of times to click on it, load it up, get it to connect, to give you a thumbnail, or even play the video, it takes longer than it would if you just waited the extra few seconds for it to send it with a thumbnail. A lot of times I'm getting the notification like if I'm walking up to my house. So from the front of my car, by the time I reach the door, I'm getting that notification. So it does take a few seconds, but it's fast enough. Whereas like a text notification, it probably would get to me like by the back of my bumper. So it's half the time, but now I have to go in and dig through my phone, whereas this, it gives me a thumbnail. So if I swipe down on my phone menu in the notifications, it'll actually show a little thumbnail and I can see, oh hey, I see the motion is it accidentally caught somebody walking on the sidewalk again. I can just dismiss that notification. And then I can also change the alert tone. For the alert tones, we have our default, which is like whatever your phone uses. And then we have silent, a bell, change, ding, notify, security, success and type. I prefer change. It's a drop sound, and I only use that for Eufy cameras. So anytime I hear that on my phone, I know, hey, I got a notification on my phone for my security cameras, and it's not like a text message like I'd get for a default. So I keep mine at change. And then motion detection, you can also change that to whatever you want, but I have my motion detection no notifications, but it does record them. That's a really nice feature I think would be cool to offer on the other ones, which is so funny that like they offer some things on this but not on others, some things on others but not on this. Like, it's software, just offer it all, right? And then if we go back to our main settings menu here, below notifications is general. And here we can say the name of it, we can talk about storage, whether we're doing local storage or store it on our home base, things like that. Wi-Fi connection, it's where you can change, if you get a new router, you can connect it to the new Wi-Fi, or if you're in the process of switching them, you'll have both Wi-Fis on, hopefully, and you can just, through there, connect it to the new Wi-Fi. Time settings, you can go in here to adjust your date and time if it's not automatically pulling that correctly. Mounting guide, it'll, like I think we talked about this earlier, if you needed to go through that mounting guide again, you can. And then about the device will give you things like your serial number, model number, system version, IP addresses of it on the network, as well as its MAC address. Also within about devices where you will check for firmware updates. Let's go ahead and check for one right now. Current version, firmware is up to date. Great. So that is the settings menu tutorial. Let's go ahead and take this back outside now that it's a little later and we can go through the lighting tutorial. That is a longer one, so use the chapters down at the bottom of the screen here to help you jump forward or continue watching if that's what you want to see, or you're looking for something specific in there. Feel free to continue watching or jump forward in the chapters. All right, you guys, so it is now late at night, late enough that it's dark outside, and we've got our light on here. I've actually had this for about a week now, and we've kind of kept it like this. This is as dim, I believe, as it'll go, and also warm. So let's go ahead and mess with the colors. I'll tell you what I'm doing. I'll actually give you an on-screen representation so you don't have to look at me. I'll start a screen recording right now. All right, so here we are in the light settings on the app. You can see we can choose like different colors of it. But let's go ahead and start by, you can see right here across the top, this is full brightness. Let's go back to our daylight white. That is very bright. You can, in the camera it looks kind of blue, and out here it is a little bit blue. If we do a middle color, that is a very bright white, and it is like lighting up the neighbor's house right now. I'm sure this would drive them up the wall if this was on all the time. And this is our warm white, which essentially makes it dimmer, but it is, looking at it, it is more yellow. And then we'll take our brightness all the way down. That is full brightness. This is least brightness. So this is usually what we'll keep it at, is very warm, least brightness, because it is facing our neighbor's home, and so we don't want to bother them with that shining in their windows. And then again, we can set it up to be like architectural lights like this, to where one faces the house itself or both of them, and that way, you know, that looks kind of cool. And we could probably even turn the brightness up a bit with that, and now it's just reflected light illuminating this porch, which on camera doesn't show up super well, but like in person, the illumination of this awning right here is actually kind of cool. And let's go ahead and start going through our preset colors here. We have a greenish yellow. Turn our brightness up a little bit so maybe you can see the differences here. Uh-oh, we're struggling to focus. And let's go to our yellow orange, red orange, red. That looks much more pink or magenta to me. We got a light green, and that actually, that looks more turquoise than it does light green. Man, it is struggling to focus. So this is supposed to be our light green, but it definitely shows more of a turquoise, and in the camera on the screen for me, it looks more blue. This is our green blue, but I'm not getting a lot of green out of it. It's just a very light baby blue. All right, and here's the next blue here. And then even more blue, and then this should be like a violet, and that does kind of look purple. I don't know if that comes through on the camera. It looks way more purple on the screen on my camera, but it comes through as like vaguely purple. Let's see what these dynamic lightings are. That's kind of cool. It just transitions with colors, but I don't know. It brightens up and then dims between colors, which is okay, but I don't know if that's awesome. It's like this color bright dim, this color bright dim. Let's go over to warmth, see what the warmth lights are. And this is again full brightness. That's okay. Could really set a mood if you wanted. And let's jump over to the party. I don't know. This is just, I don't know when this would be valuable, but there is a plus sign so that we can actually create our own. So let's hit that plus sign and see what we can do. We're going to call this one Christmas. And the first color is going to be green. Let's go select green. The next color is white. Next one's going to be red. Next one's going to be blue. This is what's technically called Christmas. And I tried doing a white, but for some reason, if you leave it blank, it just deletes it. There's no way to do like a white color. So you'd have to do like maybe a yellow. Let's see what a yellow looks like here with like the rest of the Christmas colors. And a yellow, let's try a lighter blue, like do the lightest blue we can. Oh, whoops, that's replacing our green. So let's throw our green back in here. So we get kind of, that light blue might work for a Christmas color there. We're getting our red, green, blues, and white. So you can see this architectural lighting actually is kind of nice, where it just like reflects off the house. It's not too direct. And then if we want though, we can always turn it facing out, and that lights up this area a lot more. So if you want just like illuminating your home, architectural lighting, this is actually a really great option. Especially if you don't want to pay to have somebody come out and put can lights in, you can put these guys in yourself. Let's see how that looks in the camera view where it's reflecting off of the house itself. Let's just go to a live view. That's what I wanted to do. And now, wow, that's actually really good. I'm impressed with how good that looks on my phone here. Like you can't see me, like hello, but it sees me great. Like I wonder if I brought the camera on the other side. Can you see me now? No, you can't. Like, and this camera has a really great sensor on it, but somehow this Eufy camera is picking me up like clear as almost day, and the lights are literally turned facing the house. That's kind of crazy. I like the architectural style, so I'm going to go ahead and readjust these so that the camera is facing exactly where I want and I get my zones correctly. I really should just be having you guys look at the screen that's here in my hand, because it's way better than what I'm getting out of my camera, other than maybe the audio. Oh, and it has an alarm. Do we want to hear the alarm right now? Let's see what happens. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Yep, sound only. Ooh, we got sound and light, and we can turn, it does a red light. Alarm will turn off automatically after 30 seconds, but let's just do it real quick. Oh man. Okay, turn that off. The neighbors are gonna love me after this. Of course, you can see, actually now, you can actually see the lights are off, so it's using IR light. And now the lights are back on. But you could see how good the infrared lighting camera is as well. But if we turn off the lights here, okay, now you can see the camera is picking up almost nothing except for some fairy lighting in the neighbor's yard. But the IR light from the Eufy camera is actually really good. You're getting a lot of definition. You can probably use this to pick out some bad guys. So, you know, if I'm over here, I'll show you both cameras side by side, as you can see, walking up to the house, coming up to the side door here, and I bet you could probably use this to identify somebody. Granted, it's not perfect, but it's better than I expected. I don't know why I'm even bothering moving this camera around, because it can't see anything while I'm just using my phone to look at the camera here in front of me. This is really awesome. I'm impressed with that. So let's go ahead and turn these lights back on. And even with that little bit of light, it brings so much more back. Oh man, that's super cool. So that is a lighting tutorial for the Eufy S100 wall light cam. Let's go ahead and take this back inside. Alright, so the next thing I was gonna show you is the website interface. To do that, you'll go to mysecurity.eufylife.com, and then it'll take you to your page. If you don't have an account, you'll create an account, but I'm pretty sure you just use the same account on your app. So whatever email you used on the app, and then that login password to sign in on the web page. So you can see that I have cameras here, but they're all blurred out. So if I click on one, like my doorbell, it asks for a safety pin, and all of them are gonna ask for this safety pin. To get this safety pin, you'll actually go over to your phone here. So from the app, you'll click on the hamburger bar in the top left, and then go to Control Center, and then here we have Web Portal Access. And here you can turn it on for 1 hour, 24 hours, however long you want it to be accessed, but it can't be just left on. And then you'll generate a safety pin, and now you'll put in that safety pin here, and it'll unlock all 4 cameras I set it for 1 hour. But you can't do anything other than look at the cameras. You can't edit things, you can't make changes. And I think it would be really helpful, because I did kind of glaze over earlier the setting up of activity zones, because the user interface on that is terrible. Seems extreme, but it definitely leaves a lot to be desired. A lot of times I'll try to like grab the whole box and move it around, or I'll try to grab a corner and I'm grabbing the box, or it will move everything around. It isn't intuitive, and I wish I could just use my computer with a mouse to be more accurate while setting activity zones and things like that. But the web interface doesn't allow that. And that's something I wish that Eufy would offer. So Eufy, if you're watching my video, I'd love for you to offer some of those features. While we're on that note, some of the other things that I wish is, I think we touched on this earlier, is USB-C. Like, why are we still using micro USB? I know that like most of them aren't plugged in all the time, or if they are, they're like direct wired in, like my side door and my floodlight, but like my doorbell and the other things aren't using USB-C, they're using micro USB. Why? Like, in today's day and age, I'm buying brand new products from you, and that's USB, micro USB, not USB-C. And then expandable memory. I wish that there was an option for like expandable memory within like the device. I understand that like the home base can have expanded memory, but that doesn't help things like my floodlight camera, my solar camera, the solo cam I think is what they're called, and then my side door camera. It, I think, can link to the home base, but it comes with a 4 gigabytes onboard storage, which is almost nothing. And I understand they have like an encryption and a compression algorithm that like makes it save space, but I'd love to be able to just like throw a micro SD card in there of my own. Like if I got like a 512 gig SD card, threw that in there, and I'd be set. And I could do that to all of my devices. That would be awesome. But that's not an option that Eufy offers on these devices. So expandable memory would be a nice feature. That, or make it so that the home base can communicate with all of them, not just select devices. I also mentioned earlier that I wish that there was like exclusion zones. instead of just activity zone. Well, like things like my doorbell camera, it has exclusion zones and it has activity zones, while our wall light camera only offers an activity zone, not an exclusion zone. That would be nice. Last thing I have is some of my other devices, when sending out notifications, give you an option for text, thumbnail, or hybrid of like, hey, it'll send you a text notification and then it'll actually update to a thumbnail if you don't look at the notification soon enough, which I think is super cool, but it doesn't offer it on all devices. Like, why not? Why not? You already have it there, why not just apply it here? Is it that hard? Overall though, this camera was easy to set up, really meets my hopes when I bought it. It looks awesome. I like that you can actually turn off the little LED, the status LED showing that it's recording or not. And I've never had any problems with notifications coming through, which is something nice to be able to know that it's something I can rely on. As of recording this right now, the wall light camera is only $150, $149.99. And that is actually a really decent deal. I'll have links to it down in the description or up in the corner here. There's going to be links to other videos as well as this camera. You'll be able to buy it on Amazon. I am an Amazon affiliate, so using those links do help support this channel with no additional cost to you. If you want to see more videos about Eufy security systems or this camera in general, leave your questions in the comments below. And I also know that you can do expanded memory on the home base, as well as hooking our security cameras to a Alexa device. So if you'd like to see a tutorial on that, let me know and I can actually make that video in the future if that's something you'd be interested in. Thank you again so much for watching. I really appreciate all of you guys making it this far in the video. And if you want to see more like this, or if you appreciate what I'm doing here and want to help to support this channel, another thing you can do is hitting that subscribe button. It doesn't cost you a thing, but it does let YouTube know that, hey, people like this channel. You can turn on that notification bell to get notified of my future videos. But the biggest thing you can do is clicking those Amazon links down in the description below and then doing your Amazon shopping from there. Whether you buy this item or something else, using those links do help to support this channel, again, with no additional cost to you. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for your support, and I'll see you guys in the next video.